People thought you was going to run behind them. People thought you was going to chase them, but you did the opposite. I mean, they were sitting around waiting on you to chase them. They were sitting around waiting on you to run behind them, family. You didn't do any of that. What you did was you vanished, just like Casper the ghost. Poof, you were gone. You were gone. You waved goodbye, you turned your back, and you never looked back. Now they're looking at their watch, counting the days. See, now the tables turn. See, now they reap what they sow. Maybe you sat around in life at some point while you were broken, twiddling your thumbs, waiting on people to change, waiting on a certain person's giving them an opportunity to do well by you. Maybe you were that person at one point, but this time was different. You didn't chase. They thought you would. And the reason why people thought you was going to chase them, because they need your validation. You are chosen, and you got to know what comes with the turf being chosen. You are the full package. Just your presence alone, it enhances and it increases the confidence in people. It does. When a chosen person steps in the room, you light up the room. The spirit that you have on the inside of you, it removes depression. You have a certain aura that God give you that put off positivity, love and peace, joy, a calmness, a peace, serenity. That's what you gave. Now they're looking for you to come back. You were the spiritual plug. You were that power source for people. You were the reason why God planted you in the life of certain people so people can grow. Some people are just not going to grow without you to a certain point. They're not. They needed that emotional attachment. They thought you needed it, but you didn't need it. They thought you were going to turn around and run and chase, beg and plead, ask for closure every day of your life. But one day you put your foot down and you never look back. See, this is when people begin to reap what they sow. As long as you're in a life of people that are mistreating you like that, they may get a little bit of it. They may get a small taste of the judgment. But when you really make up in your mind and you walk away from these people, that's when the tables are going to turn. That's when that bowl of judgment will be poured out upon people. I mean, when you leave for real. I don't mean for fun, for play, just to see. No. When you leave for real and you make up in your mind, I'm going to vanish from your life and you're not going to contact me. I'm not going to give you an opportunity to call me, to reach out to me. When you make a decision to do that, that's when God bowl of 1,000% of wrath and judgment pours out on people. When you don't chase. When you chase, you don't know who you are when you chase. When you chase, you have low self-esteem and a lack of confidence. But if the truth be told, they were the one that had a lack of confidence. They weren't as confident as they portrayed to be. They were pulling off of your energy. They were pulling off of your spirit. They were pulling off of your own confidence. Did you know that? That's why they waited for you to come back. This is why they put you on a time. Well, they didn't come back yet, but let me give them a little bit more time because they need me. But the truth be told, you never needed them. You made the difference, and they needed your confidence. Everything that you brought to the table, they liked it. And they never wanted you to know that because they felt like they would lose control over you. They were going to lose control over you anyway because you're chosen and you're controlled and you're led by the Holy Spirit. God is not going to let you stay in anything where people control you. This is why when you're chosen and things start going wrong and people don't treat you the way you should be treated, when it becomes repetitive in the mistreatment, when those toxic cycles become repetitive, you wake up. This is why things intensify. This is why things got worse. because God was giving you that extra push that you needed to leave. God was giving you that extra confirmation by the mistreatment. You asked God for confirmation, He gave it to you. Sometimes He doesn't give it to us the way that we want it, but it's still going to happen. He's still going to give you confirmation. He's still going to answer your prayer. He may not give you a big bold billboard to say, yes, it's time to go. No, you may see something on TV that says go. He may show you a green light. That means go. Your mistreatment, God was telling you it's time to walk out of the door. And sometimes you don't want to leave because you're thinking about where am I going? What am I going to do? Sometimes you got to have blind faith. Just know that God is speaking to you before you take the next necessary steps to do whatever you need to do. But people thought you was going to chase them. Literally. Literally. People thought you were going to look for them, ask their friends, ask their family. But the moment you didn't do it, and as time passed and you still didn't do it, when you really vanished, when you really and honestly and truthfully disappeared and didn't look back, they fell apart. They were emotionally attached to you more than you were to them. They needed that control. They needed that confidence. You validated people. Even people in your life that mistreated you, you gave these people a sense of validation. They don't have it. You came with certain protection because God protects you. You are covered. So when you get into the life of certain people, when God plants you in the lives of certain people, they have benefits just by being with you. You know, when you're on a 9 to 5 job, when you're in corporate America, there are certain benefits that come with that position and that job and being employed at a certain period of time, right? There were so many benefits that came with you. Now they don't have access to those benefits because your presence is gone. So now people are appreciating you in your absence. Now they're appreciating what they can't get anymore. You're gone. You're done. You vanished and you went within. You had to leave. They had to leave you because God gets tired too. You know, you get tired, but listen, God gets tired too. And God said, enough is enough. It's time for you to get up out of the dunghills of life. It's time for you to get out of this cesspool. It's time for you to stop saying what you're gonna do. So God said, let me give you some push. Let me give you a big push. Let me allow a strong north wind to come and blow in your life to get you moving. Because sometimes you don't move until God calls trouble, until God causes a circumstance to make you move when you should have moved. I think all of us have been there where we get complacent and we know what we need to do, but you keep putting it off. This time you meant what you said and you stood your ground 10 toes down. You did. You said what you meant and you meant what you said. Our word is our bond. They didn't believe you. And sometimes people don't believe you're going to do what you say you're going to do because of the history. People judge you by what you allowed them to get away with. That's why they thought you was going to chase them, because they thought you loved them more than they loved you. They thought you valued the relationship more than them. They thought they were your everything, but you proved people wrong. You stayed because you wanted to stay. You stayed because you wanted them to do better. You gave them an opportunity because you know yourself better than they ever could. You knew when you left you were gone. They had to learn it about you the hard way. You know, it's terrible. Sometimes people think they know your family and they test you in ways they shouldn't. They try you in ways that they shouldn't. And the moment that you leave their life crumbles because they realize they didn't know you as well as they thought they did. That's what people are going through it. They realize they didn't know you as well as they thought they did. They realize now that it's more to you than meets the eye. You didn't chase. You didn't write. You didn't call. You didn't email. You didn't give a direct message. You didn't do anything. You just vanished. Poof. You were gone. You were done. It was a waste of time sitting where you're not appreciated, where you're not valued. You know how many people are waiting on you? You know where your name has been that you haven't gotten there yet? You're playing catch up. You have people waiting on you. People in Canaan are waiting on you. People in the palace, they're waiting on you. They are. God had to cause a storm for you to leave. You didn't chase. You never chase. Never call people who don't want to hear from you. Never chase and run behind a person that don't want to be found by you. Never. Stop loving people who don't love you back. Stop giving the best of you to people who gave you none of them. I don't mean 1%. Some people gave you nothing but a bowl of lies, a bowl of excuses, a bowl of deceit, a bowl of pain and trauma, a bowl of manipulation, a bowl of envy, jealous, strife. They gave you all that, and all you did was give them love. They didn't deserve you. They didn't. But God had to allow you to stay in something so long so you could really come to terms with what you already knew. Never pretend you don't know what it is when you know what it is. Never try to convince and justify the behavior of a person when it's put in your face. People put it in your face because God allowed them to put it in your face so you can see clearly who you were dealing with, so you can hear clearly how they were plotting. You heard what they said, you saw what they done. That's your closure. That last time is what they still hanging on. The last time they wish they can go back, that was the final straw. They can't go back. It's done. What's done is done. It's over. You sit in a seat of authority. You sit in a seat of power. People can't stand it when you get the best of them. People can't stand it when you play the game of life better than them. They can't because they thought you were nothing. Now they miss your presence in your absence. They miss everything that came with you because now they don't have access to it. Now it's time for you to heal. It's time for you to soar. It's time for you to spread your wings and fly. It's time for you to do everything that you desire to do and to become, travel, whatever you want to do. It's time for you to do it. This is why God removed you. This is why God didn't allow some things to work. It wasn't in your best interest for it to work. It wasn't. You may not understand it 100%, but as the days go by, you're going to understand. And as God start replacing problems with prosperity, you're going to thank God for it. You are. You're going to thank God for some prayers you prayed, He didn't answer. Some people you prayed to come back into your life, you're going to thank God. Them people never came back into your life, saw you, call you again. But guess what? They watching you. They're observing you because you are the one that got away. Until next time, stay tuned to the broadcast of You Are Enough.